Guys, we have another NIFB roundup I want to get into. We've got some stuff from the likes of Aaron Thompson, we got some stuff from Steven Anderson, and then some information on Jonathan Shelley that I want to get into. But first, let's go ahead and get into the fan art section. And this one is going to be one long one, actually. It's from Sylvia Silica. We have a slime Suris being cuddled by Suris Isn't, followed by Suris Isn't being picked up by a mysterious hand, kicked away, and then Slime, Raz, and me doing a cuddle. Thank you very much for your fan art submission. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, the best way to do so is to drop it in the fan art section of the Discord. With that all said, let's go ahead and get this NIFB roundup started off strong with Aaron Thompson. He's got some words on India.
But look at all these pagan religions that have resisted the truth. I mean, do you think India is like a great place to live?
I mean, I think India is a huge place, and whether or not it is a great place to live depends on where you are. America is a pretty huge place. So basically, he's trying to say that India is not a great place to live. This just kind of feels like racism piling through. What does a place to live in India look like? Well, the answers to that are as varied as what does a place to live in America look like? There are plenty of places in America that I would consider places to live, and there are plenty of places in America that I would consider places to run from and never live, that have nothing to do with strictly geological location.
Why are you running?
Totally, 110%. But let's continue.
No, because you got a bunch of dirt-worshipping heathens over there that are just, you know, they're into millions of gods. Their gods are evil, and, you know, obviously, again, one of the oldest religions in the world, but still wicked as hell.
That's right.
Wicked.
I like how there was only one person in the back saying that's right. It's like he's got an audience of 2 people in there. There's even enough of an echo. Like, with that much of an echo, is there actually anybody there? Because you guys know how acoustics work, right? The farther away that you put the wall, and the more shit you put in the room, the harder it is for the echo to, you know, do the echo thing. Anywho, his points basically boil down to a type of racism. Just a type of racism. A location in India that you may or may not want to live at. Again, those ideas are as varied as the locations in the United States. Saying that they basically worship dirt when they actually worship gods doesn't make any sense to me. It's just a way to disparage an entire religion of people without actually giving that religion of people their due. You're not talking about the actual gods that they worship. You're just saying, you know, it's millions. It's millions and they're evil. Every one of them. All 1 million of them with no context whatsoever. Nothing being granted. But that's not all. That's not all. We have more to get into. We have Steven Anderson, the leader of the NIFB, who's telling you to, be Sir Fucks-a-lot. Specifically without a condom. And he's got some reasons for that.
Today's generation, they have that one kid, they have those 2 kids. Well, here's the thing. What happens when they're one kid, especially if they're not bringing them up in church, if they're not raising them around the things of God, if they're not teaching them the Bible? You know, worldly, unsaved people out there in just 2022 America with their one kid, and then it grows up to be some purple-haired, nose-ring lesbian.
Stop it. Get some help.
So his point is basically have a lot of kids, because if you don't, the chances that your one kid you have will turn into a purple-haired lesbian are too high. He wants you to have enough kids to where statistically at least a few of them might be raised to be bigots. Steven Anderson has confirmed now that he has a breeding kink. All quiverful people have a breeding kink. They literally can't get their rocks off if they aren't immediately thinking of them going off inside you and fertilizing you. I don't know how that works if you're a dude or if you've had a hysterectomy, but I'm sure it works still.
Okay.
Brisk Creek says, what's wrong with the purple-haired nose-ring lesbian? So according to somebody like Steven Anderson, somebody being a lesbian is enough for them to be shot and killed. If somebody happens to have purple hair, then that means that they look a little different, and that's maybe not enough for them to be shot and killed, but enough reason for him to hate them. And nose rings, he just hates. He just hates body modification, which I can understand not liking body modification. I can. I'm not a big fan of it either. But I'm not going to go around at a church parading how I hate it and how it's awful and how people are going to hell for it, because that's fucking stupid. Let people do with their bodies what they want to do, whatever that thing may be, however extreme that thing may be. Let them do the thing. Whether or not it's your personal thing doesn't mean it has to be everybody's personal thing.
And then they don't get any grandkids and they just have some lesbian freak as their only offspring. What in the world? But that's the reality today of many people today that are just living for themselves and just having their token one child or token two children or whatever. And, you know, all they get is that one kid with the metallic boogers, you know, explaining to them why they're not reproducing.
If somebody's a lesbian, their reason for not reproducing can be as easy as they don't want dick. It can be as easily as not wanting cock. It can be that easy. But also, like, if anybody doesn't want to have kids, the need for having kids, it exists within a population for making sure that you have replacement for said population. But it doesn't really exist on an individual level, again, unless you've got a breeding kink. Or you specifically want to raise kids. I think that the people who should be having kids are the people who want them, not the ones that feel like they should be compelled to get them because they were told they needed to. Anyway, the last one we have here in the NIFB Roundup is Jonathan Shelley. Now, for those who don't know, Jonathan Shelley had to make an announcement back in February that his Texas-based church was being evicted from its property because of the things he said, the hate speech that he engaged in all the time. So Jonathan Shelley was forced to no longer have his church anymore because the people who owned the property that he was, you know, renting the building from did not want him there. He's got some extra information for us, some extra context to the situation. Let's hear the updates. Let's hear the information.
This is Pastor Jonathan Shelley from Steadfast Baptist Church, and I wanted to give you an update about our church location. We're actually, unfortunately, going to have to move again for next year. And so, obviously, we've been protested, you know, like every single week for really years at this
Good
point. And it doesn't seem like it's going to change anytime soon. Well, the reality is, you know, nobody really wants to lease to us. So it makes it very difficult. I am still working on a few options. We've been hit with a lot of legal fees and all kinds of different issues.
Good. Again, bankrupt the NIFB. Do this to all of their churches. Literally, make it to where the only place that they can preach is a literal public square. But remove every single space that they have to do the things they do. Leave them with online, and leave them with, again, the public square as their only options.
If you really want to be a part of our church, it's never been a better time. Our church is growing. We have a lot of people that love the Lord, and everything's looking really up. Hey,
if you want to be a part of our church, it's never been a better time to be a part of our church. You know, the time where our church can't get a building because we keep being forced out because we are such assholes. It's never been a better time to be a part of our church than literally right now when we can't get a building because we're assholes. The NIFB is the new Independent Fundamental Baptist. They are an offshoot of the old Independent Fundamental Baptists that are just called the IFB. The Independent Fundamental Baptists, before the split, were the people who funded, say, Pensacola Christian Academy, along with some Seventh-day Adventists. But basically, think of bigoted Baptist preacher, probably IFB. Now, there were sexual scandals that happened within the organization of the IFB, which led to the branching off of the new IFB, which was headed by Steven Anderson. Anyways, So that was the NIFB roundup. Those were the words spoken into the aether by, now is the best time when we can't even get a location, Jonathan Shelley, Steven Anderson, don't have a purple nose-ringed lesbian because I don't like them personally. And then, of course, the last one, who I don't even remember his name, Aaron Thompson, with all the racism against India, merely because he's never stepped foot there, ever. I haven't either, but I've seen plenty of places that look great. But I want to know what you guys think. NIFB roundups are usually fun, short, quick, and I have a little bit of fun with them. I want to know if you do. Let me know how you feel in the comment section below, and as always, everybody, insert end video tagline here.